Well, today I'm coming to you with a video. It's a Q&A video. And recently I've received some questions from some very motivated people ready for change. And I've been there and I'm still there. And it's not necessarily the same type of change, but it, as people, we are always questioning ourselves. And I'm not talking about insecurity. I'm talking about the more we change, the more we want change. Even if you're satisfied with your life, as you clean up one area, you're going to notice that the desire to get better becomes a craving. And we should always strive to be better, have goals, and having goals keep you from indulging in things that you shouldn't indulge in. Having positive goals, because as a human being, you're going to want things. And I'm not necessarily talking about material things. I'm talking about self-improvement. And whether it's spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, financial, educational, social, you're going to want something to happen, something better. And when we get complacent, that's where we get bored and we can indulge in things that are not healthy for us. So, me as a person, we all fall off. We all have times in our life when we're not doing our best, when we have to relearn things we've already mastered. And that's fine, that's good. Um, because I've learned that it's not a waste of time. If you have attained a goal and you found yourself, you've lost that ground and you have to regain it, at least you have the education to reclaim what you've lost. So I just wanted to put that out there. And one of the questions that I was asked was about low carb dieting. And, can you lose a great amount of weight, even up to 40 pounds, doing a low carb diet? And uh, you know, one person even said they lost like 10 pounds doing low carb diet in a week. And I have tried the Atkins diet. I've done the Atkins diet, and I found that when you lose that much weight in a week, it's really water weight, and it can be muscle as well. And it's nothing wrong with a little water weight loss. Don't get me wrong. Any weight that you lose, if you're trying to lose weight, any weight that you lose is welcomed. But the weight that you want to lose is fat. And you can lose fat on the Atkins diet because really it is about your calorie intake. Now, I know a lot of times we've heard, well, sometimes, and I know I have, about hormonal imbalances and how it can um, play a role in weight loss. And that is definitely true. You have the serotonin, um, you have your neurotransmitters that send signals um, throughout your hormones. And you have hormones that help you sleep, hormones that help you control your appetite, like leptin. If your hormones are off, you may have cravings for things that you shouldn't crave. It's almost like, a menopause, premenopause, menstrual or premenstrual. Sometimes your hormones a lot. Some people, women don't experience that, but um, some people do. But just to stick to the subject, hormones can play a role in weight loss. It can, low thyroid can play a role, and hypothyroidism can play a role in a sluggish weight loss. Nevertheless, it's always going to come back down to the simple science of, is your body burning enough calories to have a deficit? If you need to lose or want to lose 40 pounds, understand that 1 pound is equivalent to 3,500 calories. And you have to have a deficit. If you have a surplus, you're going to gain weight. If you have a balance, you're going to maintain your weight. So if you're a roughly 200 pounds and you want to lose 10 pounds, You have to take into consideration your activity level. If you're sedentary, you probably, to lose weight, need to be eating about 1,500 calories. If you're sedentary, 1,500 calories in a week, 7 days, would be equal to 10,500 calories. And then you would take in consideration your resting metabolism. That's a metabolism. That's the amount of calories you burn when you're doing nothing. So a person who weighs 2,000 calories may have a resting metabolism of about 1,800 to 2,000 a day. That's doing nothing. So if you eat 1,500 calories, you would have a deficit of 500. So like I said, resting metabolic rate 2,000 minus what you eat 1,500, that is 500 calories that you've burned from creating a deficit in calories, not considering activity level. So 500 calories in a deficit a day times 7 equals 3,500, which is 1 pound. So you have to consider your calorie intake. Now, I know that the low carb diet is great for putting you into ketosis, which is supposed to put you in a fat loss state, forcing your body to go to fat versus going to carbs, which in the long run can help, but it's still always going to come back down to calories in, calories out. The type of calories you eat will determine a lot of how your body looks. So if you're eating a lot of carbs, you may look a little bit more puffy versus someone who may eat the same amount of calories who is on a low carb diet may look a little bit more lean. So the type of calories you eat may determine how your body looks, but it won't necessarily determine if you lose weight or not. So that's about the low carb diet. Just understand that it's best to be on a diet that you can see yourself on for 20 years. It's best to make your lifestyle of eating about love. And this is not some speech. I've been doing this for almost 20 years, and I have hated myself. I have been 270 pounds and miserable. Lowest self-esteem probably from a lot of people walking the planet. I wanted to cut the fat off of my body. I wanted to take a blade and just slice it off. It was miserable. I felt like I was in a fat suit. But you know what I was forced to do? Sit there in that body and use the patience that it takes to create the new me. You know, the Bible says that love is long-suffering and kind. And when you love yourself, you have to suffer for the good. But the end of that love, for the suffering that you've done, is kindness. So when you do good and you suffer in that moment doing good towards yourself, you're going to reap kindness. And I'm not trying to preach. I'm just passionate about us helping ourselves and helping one another. So if you know you love fruit and the diet does not allow you fruit, that's not the diet for you, because all you're going to do is binge. If you know you love meat, then being a vegetarian is not for you unless you learn different types of things that will give you the same benefits and fulfill those cravings for meat. If you know that you love potatoes, but the diet says you can't have it, there's nothing wrong with potatoes. That's just not the diet for you. At the end of the day, it's about moderation, not termination, because that leads to frustration. And I heard that in a nutrition class. So moderation versus termination. Moderation, not termination, because termination leads to frustration. So eat the things you love that are healthy for you, and you will see over time that you will not only lose that weight, but you'll be happy and you'll be hormonally balanced. Now, another thing, I was asked a question, and this video is becoming long, but I know how it is, and I just want to do this video. So another question I was asked was about embarrassment in the gym. Let me just tell you, as a woman, even a woman who has abs, during that time of the month, because we are sometimes under such scrutiny, even when you are not your best, but you still look like someone else's best, even that can kind of play in your mind. Like, oh, last week I went to the gym, I saw my abs, now I can't see my abs. Oh, I don't want to walk in the gym. Because there is a eyeball scrutiny sometimes on women. But you know what? In those times, you know what I do? I go anyway. You know why? Because I refuse to become a prisoner of society's viewpoint of me or my dysmorphic disorder. I don't want to allow a moment of I'm not super ab top model to stop me from having moments of happiness. And let me tell you, you will not go to the gym and walk out of there regretting it. You may feel embarrassed, but sometimes, and I'm telling you from experience, I would see a person, male or female, it doesn't matter, who may be 300-400 pounds, and I would remember where I was, and in my heart, I would just say, in my heart silently, hoping that they can hear me spiritually, and say, I'm so proud of you. And that's what I would do. Now, I'm not saying everyone who sees a person overweight looks at them and says to themselves, I'm proud of you, I'm glad you're here. Some of them, they may look at you and say, ugh. That's just the reality of this vain society. But not everyone looks down on someone that's overweight. Sometimes people will look and say they're proud to themselves. Nevertheless, regardless, if they do or not, you're there for you. Let me tell you a story. This is a real story. This is an experience that I had. Oh man, I was working out when it was Bally's. And I went from 270 pounds to 170 pounds. So at this point I had lost 100 pounds. But, I still had a goal. And my goal was at first 150. Then I said, I think for my height, 5'4", I want to be about 130, 125. But I was 170 at the time. And this was about 2003, something like that, around that year. And there was this big mouth guy in the gym. And he would see me working out, he would see me lifting, he would see me working out hard, and he was the clown of the gym, but not the clown like he was funny, but he always had the cap on somebody. So he walked up to this lady, I guess they knew each other. He said, you know how to work out, you know how to lift weights without, at a certain size. Some people don't know how to do that. And he looked at me. And you know what I did? Because I was lifting. I guess he figured I'm still closer to 200. I shouldn't be lifting weights like that, because she was small, the woman he was talking to. You know what I did? Because he was a regular at the gym and I was a regular at the gym. What he did, his hatred, because I'm not saying he hated me personally or he was a hateful person, but the thing he said was hateful. It doesn't matter what a person feels, but if they act hateful, that's all you can go off. I used what he said to fuel me because I knew I loved that gym. And I used his mockery to make me determined. And sometimes you have to learn how to work with all energy levels, whether it's love or hate. You can't always be comfortable basking in the presence of love. Okay, yes, we all want encouragement. We all want our families to surround us, our friends to surround us. We want people to pat us on the back. But in those times, when you got people mocking you, hating you, when you are at your worst, you got to learn how to take that shame and look at yourself and say, you know what they said, yeah, I am fat. I'm going to use what they said to prove them wrong. They thought I couldn't do it, but I'm going to show them. And let me tell you, get back to the story. The following year, it didn't take me a year to get to I had got to 140 at that time. The following 6 months, the same guy, no lie, was flirting with me. Tried to, not necessarily like, girl, give me your number, but just like, hey, you looking good. You know? All right now. But that's the same guy who mocked me. So the mockery of a person can lead you to that same person giving you your props. Because in their eyes, you're a work of amazement. And I was one of the most fit people in that gym. And he didn't speak another word to me other than words of praise from that point on. So my point is, when you go in the gym, understand what your purpose is. And understand you might have people that will encourage you there and people that will put you down. But at the end of the day, even if you walk out of there embarrassed, you got to know why you there, and take the mockery and let it fuel your fire, and take the love and let it fuel your fire in different areas of your mind. Okay? Now, also, I was asked about burning, the muscle burning. You know, you have different types of muscle burn. You have muscle burn that is due to lactic acid. That's when you're working out within like 0 to 30 seconds and you feel that burn in your thighs if you're lifting weights, or your arms, and it's saying, oh, my arm's on fire. That's lactic acid buildup. The more you exercise that muscle, the less lactic acid will be built up in that area. You'll have more lactic acid tolerance. So you'll be able to do more reps or do more weight without that burn being there. In the beginning, you will have more lactic acid build up, but your muscles will begin to utilize the lactic acid more efficiently. So don't give up. And if it's painful, stop. This is not, think of yourself as a tortoise. This is not a speed race. This is about you having a long, healthy life that will give you self-esteem. So if you can only do 3 reps, that's 3 reps more than you would have did if you didn't do it. And you will learn to tolerate it. Okay? Also, as far as joint pain when doing cardio, a lot of times, like when I got into a car accident, my knee, I messed my ankle up and I didn't take care of it like I should have. And it affected my knee. And I found I couldn't even walk on the treadmill without my knee swollen, getting swelled up, like bad. And I was like, I cannot believe this. This was after I've lost weight. And I said, oh my goodness, I love working out. You told me I'm never going to be able to walk on the treadmill with my knee swelling up. So what I did was I went and I got on the elliptical. And I continued to pray over my knee. And I continued to walk for like 1 minute. And I would get off the treadmill when my knee started to hurt. Then I would get on the elliptical. But I never stopped walking. Because the thing is that form follows function when it comes to joints. If your body is made to be used the way you want to use it. So if your body is being demanded, like I'm going to walk I'm going to walk this treadmill, your joints are going to be forced to form to allow you to walk. So it may not happen overnight, and you may have to drop some of the weight in order to bear your joints to be able to bear it. But don't, 5 minutes is better than no minutes. So if you do 1 or 2 minutes, 5 minutes, get on a non-weight bearing machine like the elliptical or the bike. Now some people who have joint pain in their knee even have a problem with the bike. But the elliptical is a little different because you're upright. You're not bending your knee in and out like when you're cycling. So try the elliptical and do the treadmill for at least 1 or 2 minutes to give your joints that force field and to tell them you are going to pound this pavement. But because if you don't, your joints may continue to be soft. Form follows function when it comes to joints. Okay? So as always, don't allow the moments of your own personal failure or your perception of your failure to stop you from going for tomorrow's success. You know, it's not vain. You may feel embarrassed. You may feel ashamed. You may have regret. You may feel lonely. You may feel fat. You may feel ugly. You may hate your hair. But you know what? Work with what you have. Learn if it takes everything in you to love yourself. Just don't give up. You are the best friend that you have on this earth. Your spouse may love you, your children may love you, your mother and father may love you, but if you don't love yourself, everything that they give you, you will push away. Because it's what you feel for yourself that will allow you to embrace everything around you. All right? So this is LaShonda signing out, saying there is more to come. And send me your questions. Subscribe. I'm very passionate. Let's help one another. Let's encourage one another in this thing called human life. Because it's not always easy, but we can succeed. We can make it. All right. Have a great day.